Hey guys, so John left a comment in the last video suggesting that I do tabs and gloves and things like that, so that's what I'm gonna do. John's becoming a huge part of this channel. I quite like it. I do. I like it. And as a personal challenge, I'm going to try and do it all in one shot with very little rambling. Don't like my chances. I really don't. But let's give it a go. Release aids. It's a good place to start. I haven't got a release aid here, so I can't actually show you. But yeah, you know, they're not hard to find. Mostly they're using compound bows, and if you shoot a compound bow without a release aid, you're just shooting it wrong. Just it's wrong. And there are exceptions, of course, like the Oneida bows and the copycats of the Oneida bows, where the cams aren't at the very tip of the limbs; they're halfway down. But the majority of compound bows, you're shooting off of cams, so you need that release grip. Otherwise, any slight torque of the string and it's just going to come off, and then you've got 30, 40, 50 pounds plus behind an arrow. You've no idea where that arrow is going to go, and you've got the string flying everywhere. It's just use a D-loop, use a release aid. It's what they're for. Now when I shot a compound bow, I had it for a few months. I didn't really like the release aids that you held. They just annoyed me. But the ones that wrap around your wrists, I got on with quite a lot. So I could pull back with my arm up, and then very slowly just tease it and let it go that way. Now I will say, like, in target recurve archery, release aids are used if you've got like a medical condition, a physical problem, nerve damage, whatever. So using a release aid is really the only option. Then yeah, great, go for it, use it. But at the risk of sounding a bit like a body part, if there's nothing actually wrong with your hand and there's no struggle there, then why use a release aid? The most common argument I hear is that it's for consistency. But I always think surely that just comes down to practice. So like I see it in the Olympics, and I see guys at my archery club that use a release aid for recurves, and like, if it works for you, then yeah, go for it. But it's just something I've not been able to get past. It's just me being a body part. But yeah, okay. So moving on to something that I do have here: gloves. A very, very heavy duty glove. Probably the toughest that I have. I use this for my recurve, my 40-pound recurve, and I use it for my 80-pound Mongolian bow, and it's fantastic protection. I'll be honest, I don't tend to get these from shops like Merlin or anywhere else like that. I do generally just go onto eBay and look at the designs, find something that I like the look of, and order it, see what happens. Been stung quite a few times that way, but you know, there's a lot of good on there as well. Wraps around the wrist, tough. I mean, I've just told you what I shoot with it, and it works. The downside of a heavy duty glove like this is, for me personally, I like to feel the arrows. I mean, I have a pouch that goes on my belt, on my back, so I can take out from over the shoulder. I like to feel the arrow when I take it out, and you can't really feel it with your index finger when you're pulling it over your shoulder. So for me, that's a bit of a downer, but it's a personal thing, and you know it's a very good glove. Lighter glove, much lighter glove. Yeah, it's again, you know, it's nice, it works, and with the Timber Creek, with the 40-pound bow, it's fine. I mean, I do start to feel it. Definitely feel the string more with the light padding here. So for a lighter bow, for like 36 and downwards, this would probably be perfect. But generally, it's not too bad. The only major downside with these that I've had is that when I go to line up and shoot, quite often the string will also take these straight off the fingers, which is really annoying to have to keep putting my fingers back inside and getting it all ready again. But I'm sure that's probably just sloppy technique. So yeah, but you know, it's good, and it was cheap, very affordable. I honestly can't remember how much, but from eBay, so buyer's market. This isn't really for the shooting hand, it's just something nice to put up. I've probably touched on this before, but this is for longbows for traditional shooting. You have off the shelf, and then you have off the hand. This is the bit that protects you when it's off the hand. The arrow rests on there. You shoot, nothing goes into your hand, nothing scratches. It's great. I mean, when I first started, my first bow was a homemade PVC longbow. Yeah, but you know, it was fun. It got me into archery. So then I bought a Mongolian bow, a fairly weak Mongolian bow, and then I bought a traditional Chinese bow. I wish I had this when I was shooting those bows, because I went through so many pairs of gloves where the arrows just stripped and stripped and stripped away. So yeah, if you are a real traditionalist, this is fantastic. Tabs. Yeah. Okay, so if you go to the last video, John leaves a link to a tab that's quite flappy. I mean, I've used them. I don't really get on with them because they're too flappy. I like it. I'm hard to please. It needs to be secure, but I need to be able to move my hands around it. So this tab is perfect for what I need. It's secured very well. That's as far as it flaps. So my fingers go all around it. It's nice. So when I go to pull the arrow out, I can feel it. I can feel the ridge on the knocking point. Great grip. And then it's just moving my hands to pull back. It's nice. It really is nice. The downside to this really is just with wooden arrows, because the cutaway is so small. It only really works with my carbons. When you try to knock out a wooden arrow, it folds around it, which messes up the shot majorly. But yeah, tabs. I'm a big fan of tabs. Now they've recently had Come and Give It a Go Day, I think it was called. It's something that I think every archery club has done, which is pretty much opening the doors to everyone, trying to get as many people in and shooting on a certain day. So ours was last Saturday, and I was sat there and I was talking to one of the guys in the club, and he told me that he modifies everything he buys, absolutely everything. If he buys a bow, he modifies the grip. If he buys a quiver, he modifies the quiver. And he says you should modify everything to suit you. I pretty much agree, because he gave me a brilliant idea of sorting out my tab. I told him that I've gone back to shooting wooden arrows, but it doesn't really agree with my tab, and I'm having a bit of issue going back to the heavy duty glove because I just can't feel it, and that's what I like. I like to feel the arrow and then knock it. So he showed me his tab, and his tab, it's so simple but it works. He just cuts a bigger outlet. That's it. So yeah, that's probably on the cards very soon. But yeah, you know, give them all a go. Even release aids and D-loops. Find what works for you, because that's what archery is all about. It's what you feel best doing. When I pick up a bow, I want a tab, really. I mean, I'd love to be able to shoot just bare fingers, but that would ruin my hands. But yeah, you know, archery is all about what works for you, and it's what you enjoy doing when you shoot. So give it a go. Try a little bit of everything. It's better to try something cheaply and just know you don't like it than it is to shoot and to change into a certain way that you're not entirely comfortable with. So just, yeah, give it a go. Now, if I said this before, can't quite remember because I have just finished another night shift, even though I said I wouldn't do videos after night shifts. A couple of years ago, I can't remember where I saw it, but I picked up a technique of helping with release aid with the release grip. So yeah, that's what I'm going to show, because it's simple but it works really, really well, and it helps with the follow through, and it helps with feeling what muscles you actually use in archery, because I'm not a big guy, but I can shoot an 80-pound bow for quite a long time before I have to put it down and give it a rest. Archery doesn't require big flashy muscles, but it does require certain muscles that you don't really use on a day-to-day basis. So this little exercise makes you feel the muscles that you're using and helps you with your release. It's really simple. You get your archery fingers. Trying to do this best for the camera. Yeah, okay, so lock them. There we go, that's better. Bloody cameras. Yeah, lock it and pull. Just put pressure on. That's it. Now I can feel the tension in my shoulders. I can feel the tension in my shoulder blades. Obviously I can feel the tension in my fingers. Just hold it at a good anchor point. I mean, my anchor point's up there, but that's good for the basis of this. And this is where a lot of archery anchor points are. Particularly at my club, I've noticed that they go for under the chin. So, you know. But that's it. You hold it and then you let go. Probably more shaky with the camera because of where I am. But the release is really important. Now, I've seen a lot of people who compare the release to just dropping a bucket and going with the same mentality of, you don't do this to drop a bucket. You just let it go. Okay, I mean, if that works for them, then brilliant. But I think this kind of exercise to help with your release is probably the best way to do it without throwing in a bucket, because you feel it and then you're just relaxing your fingers to the point where it goes. So you can do that as many times as you want, And then when you pick up the bow, you've got that in muscle memory, and it just goes. It's a great little technique. Pass it on, share it, use it. Go for it. Cheers. I did it all in one take. Yeah.